Hi, this is Joe with Alexis 221 Woodworks. Just wanted to give you an update on my completed project. It's basically all set. I just put the last finishing touches on it this morning and she's ready to go. Here you go. Right, here we are. Just to give you a walkthrough on what I've done so far. This kit needed a lot of work right out of the box. And I'm not sure from my other videos, I've actually went through some of the steps with you, and I was having issues with my video camera, so I was down for a while. But basically, there's a lot more woodworking that needed to be involved. And starting off with the neck, actually, they had the wrong neck angle on the heel block, and also the routed cavity for the neck actually was routed to a 3-degree angle also. Giving it approximately a little over 7 or 8 degrees of an angle, which was way too crazy. So what I did was I kept the angle on the neck, which is about, I think it was like 2.5 degrees or 3 degrees, and I flattened out with a router. I flattened out the cavity for the neck, and actually I increased the depth a little bit because it wasn't really the back cavity was an issue. I had to reroute that a little bit, and also the ground going to one of the pneumatic studs, they failed to put an access hole going to the opening for one of the studs, so I had to re-drill that. And also I had to resurface the whole thing, and pretty much that was pretty much it for the woodworking. So what I've done actually is I went with 2 different types of finish. I actually used a crayon red, and I actually darkened it up with a gel stain to tone it down a little bit. But before I did those steps, I actually grain filled it with some filler, which really didn't do much in terms of filling the grain. I mean, it did a little bit, and I actually applied it twice and sanded it, and it came out okay, but not to my liking. But so this is the finished product. It's I went with the faded type look, a little better than faded. I actually matted it down a little bit. The shine was just too crazy on it. I don't like shiny guitars. That's that. And also, let's see what else I have. You know, the black headstock. I did some upgrades with it. I actually upgraded the tuners to Grover tuners. And the pickups, I have Classic 59 Seymour Duncan pickups in there. The electronics that it came with basically were crap. The pots were either damaged or shorting out, so I replaced the pots. And I actually had this old Epiphone that I just stripped them out of there, and that seemed to work out fine. And you know, it sounds great. I'm going to give you a sound test in a little bit. So pretty much that's it. That's the completed guitar. I'm very happy with it, and the only issue I have with it is I'm not used to this body style, and I keep whacking the back of the guitar on stuff, but that's okay. Anyway, I'll give you a I also went with a upgraded pickguard. This is an authentic Gibson replica of the 76 Explorer pickguard. The one that came with it was okay, but it just didn't look right for some reason. I think it was a little more chunkier over here. I just didn't I didn't like the way it looked, so I just replaced that. And pretty much that's it. I'll give you a sound test. Alright, here we go. Basically what I'm running through is a Fender Blues Junior amplifier, and I have a Boss ME70 guitar multi-effects processor, but I have it on clean right now with a little bit of reverb. And just to give you an example of what it sounds, I'm not sure how the quality is going to be on the camera, the video, but it's pretty chunky. These 59 Classic Series Seymour Duncans are great. That's pretty much on the neck pickup, and here's the bridge. think the capacitor on my tone is going. And again, I ripped these electronics off an old Epiphone, so it's a pretty chunky capacitor on there, and I think I'm going to replace that at some point because I'm getting some frequency manipulation there, and especially on my when I have in the middle position on the 2 pickups. I went with the Classic 59 because I like that chunky blues sound, not so much of a screamer with the guitar. It was a great project. It was a lot of fun, a little bit of some challenges, and again, I'll probably, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check that capacitor in there, and also probably get a new nut for the headstock. This nut isn't really giving me what I need to. It's actually the string spacing on it is a little wider than it needs to be. So eventually, when I change out the strings, I'll just change out the nut also. And but overall, it was a good project. It was a lot of fun. We have another guitar project in the works. I'm not sure what yet, but this was definitely a good learning experience, and I'll only take what I've learned from this guitar and apply it to my next guitar. Okay, just a few things to keep in mind. Here's the completed guitar. And basically, if you're thinking you're going to buy a kit and put it together without having to do any work on it, you're in for a big surprise, because from talking with other people and from experiencing it myself, most kits still require a lot of work. Specifically this one. Like I said earlier, right out of the box, I had to do some work on the neck. The neck pocket needed to be rerouted to the correct angle, and the width of the opening for the neck was a little shy of 2 3/16 of an inch, and the width of the bottom of the neck, meaning over here, was a little strong of 2 3/16. So there was some work needed to be done there. Also, from reading other posts and investigating on the string height, because it is a flat top guitar and I'm using a tune-o-matic type style bridge, there was a lot of considerations to take into factor. The neck angle for one, and also what I did was the actual studs, the posts for the studs, if you can see it, I actually recessed them a little bit below the surface of the guitar. That way it'll give me a little bit more play in terms of the string height, the distance from the fretboard. So I just recessed it probably not even a 1/16 of an inch, just a little bit to bottom out that back tail piece. And actually, when I strung it up for the first time, I really didn't even have to tweak it out, just a little bit. And what I did was, for the nut, the actual nut that came with the guitar was not, it was less than desirable, so I went out and bought a new one. But the one I bought, basically, the string distance is a little bit wider than it needs to be, and I'll probably just replace that eventually when I replace the strings. But for now, it's playable. And if you look at the bottom of your nut, there are 2 little holes that are drilled, that they come pre-drilled. What I did basically is, from advice from another guy, was not to glue the nut in. The string tension basically holds the nut down, but there is some side-to-side action. And with those 2 little holes, you can drill corresponding holes in your headstock and use toothpicks and kind of cut them in to probably about, I don't know, maybe 3/16 of an inch, a little less than 1/4 of an inch, and that'll prevent the nut from sliding back and forth. That way it'll give you an option in the future to take the nut off, and you don't have to do any damage to the guitar. You don't have to glue it in. So, like I said, I put the Grover tuners in. The other ones were okay, but I just had these laying around, so I figured I'd throw those on there. And pretty much that's basically it. I mean, for modifications, there's not really much more you can do outside of, you know, putting, you know, new pickups in and electronics and all that. Enjoy.